All right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use this. First of all, this is your electric tongue jack. There's an up and down button here for raising and lowering, and then another button here for a light if you're docking or if you're hooking up to your truck at night. You do have your propane tanks here. Just remember, there's a little valve in there. It points towards one tank or the other. So whatever tank you're gonna use, you're gonna open up, and then just make sure that arrow is pointing towards it. And then if that tank runs out, you'll turn it off, turn on your other tank, flip that arrow towards the other tank, and then you'll be pulling propane from the other tank. Back here, hopefully you never need to worry about it, but you do have your battery box right here, and then right behind there, there is a battery disconnect switch. That's only if it's like in storage or something like that. That way it doesn't drain your battery while it's sitting in storage. As we come around, you have a large storage compartment right here. I'm gonna open it up to let you take a look in there. There's plenty of room to put some gear and some other stuff in there. This is where you'll find like the sewer hose, electrical cord, all that kind of stuff goes there. This does have a large awning. Just remember, these awnings, we don't recommend you use them unless you're sitting underneath them. So don't like set it out, go hiking for the day and come back and you could find that the wind has ripped it off or something like that. They're pretty delicate. So like I said, if you're not sitting underneath it, we recommend you have it closed. Don't go to bed with it out or anything like that. You might wake up in the middle of the night with it flapping against the RV because it broke during a windstorm at night or something. They are pretty expensive to replace. If you do damage it, it comes in a kit. They usually cost about 1,900 bucks. So that's a pricey mistake. So just make sure you be careful with that stuff. Okay, we're gonna go over how to use the door and the stairs. So first of all, to use this handle here, you're gonna lift it up and it spins around and then it drops down and locks into place. You're gonna open up the door. Make sure anytime you're using stairs, this door is open all the way 180 degrees, just like that, up out of the way. There's a lever here that's yellow. You're gonna push this lever in, it unlocks the stairs, and then you're gonna just rotate it down. There's a couple things we're gonna go over when we do that. There's some legs here. Each one of these has a little pin, and you can actually adjust the height of each leg. For example, if you're parked on an uneven surface and you want your stairs level, which you obviously would, you would adjust each leg individually to make sure it's solid on the ground. Another thing we want to look at is when we do this, we're going to pull it down, it's going to spin. We're going to lay it down just like this. It's going to touch the ground. Now, right here, what you don't want is a large gap like this or something like that. This should actually be sitting flush, and right now we're a little bit high. So we would actually need to drop this down a little bit lower. The problem is if you go to shut your door and this is up, first of all, the door's not gonna shut completely. And second, you could bend the bottom of your door or break the hinge on the door. So just make sure, once again, this is completely flat when you're parked camping. Just make sure you adjust your legs properly. Now to close it, pretty simple. You're just gonna lift this up, spin it around, grab the handle, unlock it like that, put it into its place, and then lock it back into place. Go ahead and close your door. You would lock it up, and then we always recommend when you're traveling, you're gonna lift this up, you're gonna spin it, lock it into place this way. That way if the door opens on you while you're driving or something, the handle will block it so it doesn't fly open or something while you're driving down the road. You have a couple outlets here, which is nice. Just remember, any major appliance or outlets need a generator on and running to use or plugged in at the RV park. Secondly, you have your fresh water tank fill right here. All you do is you're gonna take your garden hose, you're gonna fill it up. Inside the RV, and we'll go in there in a minute, there's a gauge and it can track how much water you're filling. If for some reason you overfill it, you'll notice water squirting out and stuff. Just there's a release valve under there. You can pull it if you overfill it a little bit, but you should be good. And then just watch the monitor inside, okay? So there's a couple exhaust vents here. These can heat up. These are from like the hot water heater. So you don't want to like lean any gear against this. It can get hot. And then the other one's from the actual heater. So their exhaust comes out here. So don't lean any gear. Another thing we've learned is if you lean some gear against here, you might think it's okay, but as you walk inside, the trailer wobbles just a little bit. Sometimes you won't even feel it. But if you have something leaning against it, it'll start scratching through the stickers or something like that on the side of the RV. So just make sure you don't lean anything against the RV when you're camping. As we come around towards the back, there's a nice little entry door back here. This is just to help, like if you wanted to load an ice chest back here or something like that. And it's kind of an emergency exit for the rear bunks. You have a spare tire. Just remember, trailers don't come with jacks for changing your tire. You would actually use your truck jack or the vehicle that's towing it, its jack, to change the tire. As we come here, right here, there's going to be a button in the front and a button in the back right here. These are your electric stabilizer jacks. There's an extend button and a retract button. So you would hold that extend button in, and then here's what's going to happen. The jacks are going to come down and touch the ground. Oftentimes they'll come down one at a time, and then the other one will follow, okay? The big thing is, before you leave the campground, you want to make sure you retract them completely up. Once again, one might come up and you might think you're up, and then the other one will follow it. So you want to, every time you're done, you want to look underneath before you drive away. You don't want to leave one of those down and then pull away and it bends the whole jack, and it can get quite expensive to change out those electric jacks. Another thing, they're just stabilizers. They're not to lift up the RV off the ground or anything to help like level you or anything like that. They just make it more stable and solid for when you're walking inside so the trailer doesn't wobble on you or something like that. Right here is actually, it says caution. This is your black water flush valve. So you would hook a garden hose right into here, and then you can run water through the black tank or the sewer tank, okay? Anytime you're hooked into this running water through it, the black tank valve must be open. You can imagine if you had that closed, what's going to happen inside the tank? It's going to fill up, and then the only exit point is the toilet. You could actually backfill the black sewer tank into the trailer if you do not have that valve open. It's this one right here, so just make sure anytime you're running this, you got that pulled, and then you can actually see the stuff coming out. This one right here is for your gray tank. That's like your shower water. This trailer actually has 2 gray tanks. So you're going to have one back here to pull. Once you're all done here, you're going to disconnect it. You're going to take it up, and there's one right in front of the front tire. You're going to hook on again right here and then pull that valve. That one is for the sink. It holds all the water that goes through the sink area. Now, if you have city water connect or something, we don't recommend you usually use that. We actually recommend you fill that water tank and then just use the water pump anytime you're running water. But if you are using this, you want a water pressure regulator, first of all. You want to make sure you have one of those. And then just remember, the lines in a trailer, like the water lines, it's not like your house. They're just made out of plastic. The fittings just kind of hook together. If you have a lot of pressure here or leave the water on, you're going to get leakage. Water's going to drip in, or it could even blow out the line. So just be careful if you're running water through the city connection. Anytime you're using water, walk outside, turn it on. When you're done using water, you're going to have to walk back outside and turn it off. Last thing you want to do is leave it on and go hiking for the day and you realize you had a leak in here. You come back and your whole trailer's flooded, 2 inches of water or something like that. So anytime you're using water, we recommend you turn it on. And then anytime you're not using water, we recommend you turn it off. Like I said before, we actually just recommend you fill the freshwater tank and then just use the on and off button in the trailer to turn the pump on. It's already pressurized to the correct pressure. And then when you're not using it, go ahead and turn it off. So pretty simple stuff. And then lastly, right here, this is your power cord connect. It's a 30 amp power cord. You'll plug it in here, and then the other side of the cord is going to plug in at the RV park, or it can plug into like a generator if you're dry camping or boondocking. There is a large slide out here. It comes out about 3 feet, so just make sure you don't park next to a tree or something like that. Also, if there's a tree a few feet away or something like that, before you close the slide out, make sure you check above the slide out. Make sure any branches or anything didn't fall down into there. If you go to close that, you could have a problem making the slide out a little wonky if there's a big branch stuck in there or something like that. So just be aware of that and be careful. And then make sure you don't park next to it and then open the slide out onto your car or something like that. As we come up to the front, we have another stabilizer jack button here, extend, retract. And then lastly, this is the other side of the pass-through storage area where that gear is going to be located. All right, well, let's head inside and we're going to show you how to use it in there. All right, guys, we're going to go over how to use the interior of this RV. First of all, you have 2 switches here. This one to the right is for the interior lighting. The one on the left is for the awning light. You have your awning extend and retract. That's to send the awning out. Just remember, wind, rain, anything like that, make sure it's closed. You don't want to damage that or have the wind tear it off or anything like that. Secondly, you have this button right here. This is your slide in and slide out control. Just make sure anytime you're operating the slide, nothing's in the way on the outside, or if you're closing it, nothing's on the way on the inside of it, so you don't want to crash into it when you're closing it, or do the same thing when you're sending it out. Make sure there's no ice chests or anything like that in the walkway, and nobody's sitting on the slide out when you're operating it. All right, so we're gonna look at the master bedroom here. It's pretty nice, it's very nice. It's got its own door, so you can close off for some privacy. And then each nightstand has a really nice feature. They're wireless charging stations there, where you can actually just set your phone on it and it'll go ahead and charge your phone wirelessly. So as we come around into the main living area, there's a nice stereo over here with the stereo controls, and then you have some USB outlets. You also have a sofa and a dinette, and what's nice is these both convert into sleeping areas. First off, if you are going to use this as a sleeping area, all you need to do is you're just going to lift up on the part here and kind of pull it towards you, and then it turns right into your sleeping area. And then the other way, you're going to close it. You're going to actually reverse that process. You're going to lift it up, kind of push it down, and kind of pull at the same time, and it kind of rotates down into place. Another really nice feature about this is if you pull this guy down, you have a couple cup holders there. So that's really nice. And you get it up out of the way. And then this one, this is your dinette, your booth dinette, but this also drops down and converts into another sleeping area. All you do to make this a sleeping area is take the tabletop off, remove the legs, and then each side underneath here has bump stops. You're just gonna lay the table right into this slot here and right there, and then you're gonna take the rear cushions and put it on top of the tabletop, and you have a nice sleeping area there as well. All right, so we're gonna go over the stovetop. So this is not a glass cooktop. So if you're gonna be cooking here, you're gonna lift this up, you're gonna flip it back, and now this becomes your backsplash. You have your burners here, and then you have your stove underneath. If you're gonna cook on here, we recommend let this cool down before you put the glass back down. And then also, we have one other recommendation. When you're traveling, don't put anything in the sink here, because if you're driving and there's something weighted there, you can actually kind of mess up the seal around here, and it could get really loose on you. So just make sure you're not putting any weight in here while you're driving. You have your microwave, and just remember, major appliances, air conditioner, microwave, all that kind of stuff, you need a generator on and running to use. You do have a fridge and freezer combo in here. These are really nice. You have your freezer control right there to set temperature. You probably don't ever need to worry about that. It's always going to be set relatively nice. And then in the fridge, this is a very large fridge. You have your controls right here. You can set your temperature, turn it on, right with that button. These are electric fridges, so the one nice thing about them is they get cold pretty quick. The old gas ones, they usually take 5 to 6 hours to get cold. These will cool down, chill, be ready in about an hour, so that's pretty nice. You have your air conditioning and heating control right here. To operate this, the button right here on the bottom will cycle through all the modes. So you're gonna have the heater mode, a fan mode, and then the air conditioning mode. So you just select whichever one you want, and then you can control temperature with the up and down arrow. Another great feature in this one, is the bunk beds, the bunk room. This is so nice, and it's really nice that you can actually close it off if you have some kids and they need to take naps or something like that. Tons of storage. Like I said before, you can kind of access a little bit of that from the back of the RV if you need to load an ice chest in. And they are decent sized beds, easily fit adults, so that's very nice. I'm going to show you down here by the door. This is your fuse panel. Just like your house would have a breaker box and a fuse panel area, this is going to be for the trailer. If something's not working, we always recommend first check the GFCI outlet, and then secondly, double check in there and make sure there's no breakers that are switched on or popped off or something like that. I'm going to send you into the bathroom here. We're going to go over the toilet. To operate the RV toilet, you want to push down the valve, the foot valve, halfway. Halfway pushing it down will fill the bowl with a little bit of water. You can handle your business. And then after that, you're going to push down on it again, and it's going to flush that down the toilet. Just remember, no